guys, welcome back to Open Up with Angel B. And for this Women's Month, I have another amazing, I would say artist because she do everything too. Okay, and today this episode is about purpose beyond the spotlight. From dancing in hip hop culture to almost singing with MC Hammer. At 19 to working with some of the biggest names in the music and film, our guest has lived many creative lives. But what's most powerful is how she evolved from being in front of the camera to building worlds behind it. Keeley Lockin'Key, Kaukimoce is not just a performer. She's a storyteller, visionary, and co-founder of Cypher Juice Productions. Alongside with her husband, she creates transformative films centered on empowerment, spirituality, wellness, and diversity. Are you ready to open up?
Well, you did. That's way better than I could have done on my bio. Seriously.
No, I was reading. I was like, yeah. I mean, how are you? Thank you for coming.
I'm doing pretty good. If I have a little frog in my throat, sorry, I don't know what it is. I think it's some milk. I don't know.
Yes, we got some water.
I might be clearing my throat a little bit.
Well, so let's see if we got it clear. We're going to have our shot. We always have our shot. Let's see. That's going to help.
All right, ready?
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, yeah, it's going to clear it up.
Spicy.
It tastes good, though.
Yeah,
it's
right?
awesome. Yeah, it's burning, though.
I love it. Okay. What song would describe your life right now?
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Let me think. That might take me a minute.
That's fine.
Why did Walk This Way just come up? Walk this way. I don't know why that just hit me. I don't know. So maybe that's it. I don't know.
Maybe that's it. I know that one. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your childhood? Where are you from? Where is your hometown?
Yes. So I'm originally from Dallas, Fort Worth area. It's a suburb called Garland, Texas. And so I grew up there literally from the time I was born until I moved to LA when I was 24. There we go. So yeah, I was in the same house till I moved here. So I didn't really have a lot of those experiences that people have with their different cultures and different houses or whatever. But in the same way, it was kind of cool because I had that stability. Mm-hmm. I did grow up in a time that was still very racist. I mean, that's a big part of my story because of just me loving hip hop and African American culture and just falling in love with it, and people not being ready for me to do that in my life. So that's a big part of my story, actually. And then I found, as far as like dance and everything, I was actually always being teased for having red hair. And so I always felt like this little awkward redheaded child because of it. And one day this kid asked me to do this dance and I didn't realize how coordinated I was. It was so easy for me, but I'd never walked that path. So I didn't know that I could do it. And everyone just freaked out. And I was like, wait a minute, I can dance. Like I didn't know. And then when I saw like Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie and all the street dance coming out on music videos. We didn't have MTV in my house. My parents were very conservative. They didn't allow us to have it. So we had this thing called Friday Night Videos that would come on just on Friday nights. And I remember sitting in my parents' room watching their TV and seeing street dance for the first time. And it was like my whole world changed. Like, it was literally like, what is that? Like, I have to have it. So I think I was around 10 years old when that happened. Nice. And I found it through, there's a lot we can go down, but I found it through a group of kids, and I would take the bus to the center of the city and meet with those kids, and that's how I started learning.
Nice. And your parents support or not?
Well, let me tell you a little story. Yeah. I somehow got a hold of a cardboard box, because that's a true story. Like, we used to get cardboard boxes and try to backspin or, whatever, windmill, whatever we could. So we would I put mine in the front yard on the grass because there was a little cushion there. And I was practicing. I was trying to learn from what I would see on TV. I didn't have anyone in my neighborhood to be with me every day teaching me, other than when I went to the rec center. And we also had a teen club, but that wasn't till I was like 12. But yeah, so I was practicing like day and night trying to break. And my dad did not like that. So he ended up taking it and throwing it away. And it literally was heartbreaking for me as a 10-year-old because I was like, where am I going to get another cardboard box? You know, it was so hard. But that was his way of saying, I don't want you to do that because of how it was going to cause the interracial mixing and all of that. So that was a mess.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. That's
it was a big part of my story, like I said. Yeah.
And nowadays, is he still alive?
No, my dad passed away when I was 21. Yeah, he passed away when I was 21. You know, my parents were Christian. I saw a lot of the spiritual battle over that situation, over racism, because you're looking at a generation of people who grew up in the thick of it, you know. There's a lot of programming that takes place, and people sometimes, I don't even know if they realize they're being programmed at the time, you know. And then you find Jesus, and you're gonna go at war internally over that, right?
Yeah, and so you grow up believing something. Yeah.
So I could see the battle. My mother, she's still alive, and she has completely turned around. Like she actually, I mean, she wasn't quite so upfront with it, you know, but she has, like, she came to my wedding. She flew all the way to Fiji, you know, in her 70s to come watch me get married. And my husband is like, she just so loves him so much. So, and she's done a lot to try to understand the culture of Fiji. And so, yeah, there's been a lot of progress there.
Yeah, nice. And your dad had chance to change his mindset or not really?
You know, I just saw a lot of battles in him over it. Even supporting me as an artist was kind of hard for him. I think just because they grew up in this like 9 to 5, like this is the way it's supposed to be, and what you're doing is not realistic, you know. And so like he wouldn't come to any of my shows because I was a singer. I am a singer. I was trying to get a record deal, so I would perform at like Hard Rock Cafe and different places where we would do showcases, and he would not come to any of them. But he did come to one. He came to one, and then afterwards he looked at me and he goes, "You look like you're really happy when you do that." And I felt like that was his little bit of effort, but I didn't feel supported in that. I didn't feel supported. Definitely not.
I feel as they fear too, right, for our future, like, especially if they don't know nothing about the music world, like how are you gonna do? Like, now I think it's easier for the kids right now because we see there's a career. Like if you really put the work on, like you can make it happen. Yeah. But back in the day, it's like, what's that? How you gonna live?
It's like a pipe dream to them. But I mean, in general, like in Texas, like I think, you know, like you said, anyone at this point can start an online show or like do all kinds of things, and some people will blow up, some people will not. But like, it's different. It is more of a reality now. But even still, I feel like even in places like Texas or like people who are not in Los Angeles or New York, still kind of a hard time thinking that it's a real way to live, you know, because even over there, the pay for like what we do over here is even like half of what it is over here. Like we discovered that when we were in Austin for 2 years. We were like, whoa, like some of the same production jobs, like that, you know, the descriptions of those jobs and everything, you would maybe make around $150 a year here, and over there it would be like $75. Wow. And so you're like, shoot, like it's crazy. But
crazy. So growing up in hip-hop culture, what did that community teach you about identity and belonging?
Interesting story. Or interesting question, I should say. Well, being what I just kind of told you, you know, I found in kindergarten, I remember there was this one kid in kindergarten, because I'm 53, so I was born in 72. So in 77, you know, b-boying was already happening on the East Coast, right? It wasn't really happening much in Texas. We could sometimes, maybe you would get like a little wink of it somehow, know that it existed, but you weren't seeing it a lot on television or anything yet. And there was this little kid who had lived in New York, or was from New York, moved to Hawaii, and then moved temporarily to Texas. And he would just throw himself on the ground and do a head spin. And we were all just like, even on the concrete or the grass, we'd just be like, whoa. So that was like one of my first like real, you know, exposures to it. But again, that was 77. So I didn't really find it till I told you, like when I saw it on TV in the music videos and all that, fell in love with it. And what basically happened was I was a cheerleader in 5th grade. 6th grade, I was in drill. And I was practicing at the rec center because that's where they had our practice. And I was over on the side, like doing waves. I was like trying to like practice on my own. And I wasn't really into what the drill team was doing, but I wanted to be active dancing. That was my only like outlet. So these kids, African-American kids, saw me practicing, trying to do waves on the side. And they ran over and talked to me. We exchanged numbers. And then I basically joined their crew. So now you're talking about a time and period where you had red line neighborhoods. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So I don't know if it was all over the United States. It probably was.
Was
but
it the gangs?
No. So basically, red line neighborhoods were neighborhoods where they would only allow white people to buy homes.
Oh.
So they would only allow white people to buy homes in that area. And then that's how really a lot of the segregated neighborhoods came to be, you know, like, and then because if the person bought the house in the 40s, you know, and they still have the house 30 years later and it's now in the 70s, you still have got these white neighborhoods, black neighborhoods, Hispanic neighborhood, you know, and that's how it was. So I would have to come out of my neighborhood, go to the rec center to meet up with them. And they taught me like everything. They taught me everything. They embraced me as a female. And also as a Caucasian female, and there was never a question of whether it was okay or not. We just embraced each other. They taught me a lot, and I just felt, I was so happy because it was like I was fulfilling that dream of what I saw on television at first and foremost, because I didn't have the culture around me in my neighborhood.
Yeah. And
then when I got in middle school, it was more integrated. There was actually, in elementary, there was one African-American person, female, named Lenice, who we became very, very tight. She actually, if we go back further, she's the one who actually taught me my first like social dance. And yeah, and then I guess the rest is history. But once we came out of elementary and went into middle school, like people were coming from different parts. And so there was more mixture. And I was in a rap group, which was mixed Hispanic, white, and African American, and then Michael Jackson, and then like it just like it this is how crazy it was though at that time. Like it was so racist, like that when Michael Jackson came out and all these people were starting to fall in love with Michael Jackson. I remember drawing his picture on my book, and I remember being scared to show that I drew his picture on my book because I was afraid people were gonna like try to bully me or something because I drew a black man on my book. That's how crazy it was.
That's crazy.
I would like hide it, and then eventually I was like, forget this, you know, like I broke out of it and didn't care anymore. But it was like that for a long time because we were being, you know, bullied by people all the time. Like in restaurants, we were sitting together. It's a lot. There's a lot of stories, but to find my identity in that, it's like, I feel like there was a group of African-American people that I became friends with that were really amazing to me because they would allow me to ask questions. I would ask the craziest questions like, what does it mean if you got blue eyes and you're black? Like, how do you do your hair? Like, I would ask all kinds of questions, and without feeling offended or anything, they actually were happily give me the answers because I knew I was sincerely just trying to understand the culture more because I wasn't in it, you know? So I feel like people just really accepted me. I don't think that Caucasian people accepted me, but I feel like African-American people accepted me. So I always felt more comfortable in that world than I did in my own.
And that shows who was right. Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is not that long ago. If we think about it's like, well, we came a long way.
It's not. You know, I would think, you know, one of the craziest things was Lenice, who she was the only black person in the school. Like she, you know, imagine what that was like for her, you know. I mean, she came to me 30 years later and was like, I want you to know I'm so grateful that we were friends, that you treated me with honor and respect. I was like, I didn't even think about it. But I was like, wow, thank God. Thank God. Like, but she's like, she will forever be, I don't know where she is these days, but she will she will forever be special to me. Always. Yeah.
There's always the good one. You were one of those. You almost signed with MC Hammer at a young age. How did that near moment shape your understanding of timing and divine alignment?
I don't know if I understood it at that point. Here I go. Excuse me.
You can get some water.
I know. No, I'm good. It just keeps happening. Divine timing. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure if I understood it that way until later, maybe as I was maturing. Reframe the question for me again. What do you?
Tell us what happened, because you almost signed with MC.
Yeah. So through all that, like we had our little rap group. Lenice was in that group, and then I was in a singing group, and we tried to do a lot of things. We had little demos, and then from there, I actually was being managed by this guy named Tim Grace, who was managing Erykah Badu before she got signed, and he also was managing this group called Crush, who he got a deal with Flight Time, which is Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and so he was trying to get me a deal. So I would do all kinds of shows in Dallas, like Hard Rock Cafe and stuff. We would showcase. Actually, like, I don't know, Jason Wright. Jason Wright. Do you know Jason Wright?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so because Jason and I grew up together since I was like 12, and Marty Kudelka, Teresa, which I met later, but like Marty and Jason and I would actually, like, Jason and Marty would dance for me when I showcased. Oh, nice. And then me and Marty would dance for Jason when he showcased, because he was also an artist. So he was doing music. So, we were trying our best, like, to get signed. So we traveled in, I think it was 90, right after graduation. We traveled to, it's called Black Radio Exclusive. I'm not sure if they still have those, but it was in New Orleans. So me and 3 of my dancers, we had a full showcase ready to go. And my manager basically set up a private audition with Hammer's A&R at the time. So I like totally auditioned right there in the lobby of the hotel. And at the time, I mean, this is another like crucial part in race history. It was 90. So this was right before I actually met, what is the name of the group? The song, I Want to Sex You Up. Color Me Bad. I want to sex you up. That song. They were there at the convention. That's when they were getting their deal. Actually, oh my God, my brain. Why can't I think right now? Motown Philly. I could get. Who is that? Why can't I think of it?
I don't know. Girl.
Oh my God! Don't show this part. Don't show this part. Oh my God! I can't think of their name. This is a menopause moment.
It's fine. We can talk about that.
Oh my God! Everyone's gonna be like, "Come on, you know who that is." Anyways, they were all there. So it was still very volatile. Like, this was when Vanilla Ice was out.
Oh, that one I know. That one I know. Because in Brazil, you wouldn't know about
all those people.
All of those people. It's like just like some...
the songs, but Boys to Men.
Oh yeah.
My God. But I'm telling you, it's just that's menopause. Boys to Men. They had not gotten their deal yet. So, like, when we got our pictures back, they were in our pictures, like, going like this behind us. And so that's the era it was. And Vanilla Ice was already famous, but it was at a point where Arsenio Hall had basically killed his whole career on this interview. It's crazy because he had a very cocky, sort of supremacist kind of mentality and was trying to challenge Hammer. And people at the time, they were just like really tired of like Caucasian people trying to like come in and maybe appropriate or something, like it still happens. People still feel that way, but like it was really bad at that time, especially with Vanilla Ice. So yeah, I was trying to get a deal with Hammer at that time, and they loved me and they kept asking for more information. It looked like I was about to sign a deal. And then they were like, we just really don't know how to market her in this climate. Like, cause what I was doing was very, it was just very soulful. It was like, R&B with dancers, and I was trying to bring old school back. Like, so there was all that kind of stuff. I don't think the world was ready for what I was wanting to do yet.
And
it was
especially
okay.
if it was that black and white, they would have been like, "What this white girl
Yeah.
trying to do?" This
Actually,
music.
Father MC, Father MC told my manager, "Why should I sign this white girl, this big head white girl, when I can sign a black girl in her place?" I mean, that's just a real talk right there. That was a real thing he said. So that was the energy, and I was like, man, it really hurt because I never really fully understood it as a Caucasian girl. Now I understand it, but as a young kid, I just wanted to
do
be with everybody, do what I love. Yeah. I didn't know anything else. So I know people, maybe not have understood my motives, but it was just because I didn't know anything else. That's what I loved. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what happened. I didn't get the deal, but then I almost signed with Sony. Mm-hmm. That's a whole nother story. I had a developmental deal with Hollywood Records. I was choreographing for one of their artists at the time, named Youngstown, who was doing pretty good on Disney, and I was their choreographer and their art director. So I got a developmental deal, and then after that, I almost signed with Sony. There was a guy that had a production deal that actually me and Neo. His name was Schaefer at the time. He wasn't known as Neo yet. Neo was going to be the first male artist. I was going to be the first female artist on this production deal. Yeah. They took us to Sony, and Tommy Mottola asked to sign Neo. He basically went behind the production company's back and signed Neo. And so I lost my deal. Oh, shit. That is when I went full on, like, I'm done. Like, that's when I fully gave my life to Christ, because I was walking kind of half and half prior to that. And I was doing everything I could in my power to do what I thought I was supposed to do. And when I got that close and it fell apart, I was like, that was when I had my fall in your face surrender moment, where I was just like, okay, what do you want from me, God? Like, what did you design me for,
And what did he answer?
Well, through that process, that was a really hard process. That was when my health started acting crazy. I lost that deal. I was kind of having some financial issues. There was a lot going on all at once. And I remember I was working with this lady named Lakita Garth. We would travel the United States doing a little production in high schools and stuff. And she's amazing. She's an amazing mentor, amazing wise woman. I went to her and I was like, I don't understand what's happening. It just feels like everything's falling apart. Like, I've done everything. I'm trying everything. And she said, you know what? Let me ask you this question. It's funny because this is someone else's testimony that I just recently heard. I was like, wow. She goes, let me ask you this question. She was like, if you could not sing, you couldn't dance, you couldn't act, you couldn't write, you couldn't do any of those things, just think about who would you be. And I was young. I never thought of myself other than that. And I thought about it. I was like, what if I was just stripped down to just me and no gifts? Who would I be? And I sat there. And then I was like, oh, a child of God? And she goes, exactly. I was like, it was literally such a simple answer, but it changed everything for me, because I finally understood at the core, I'm not the things that I do. Yeah. Because all those things can be taken away from you anyways. You could have an accident. You could, whatever, We
was just talk about this, the earlier interview I did with the other girl, because we, as an artist, we put so much of our value in what we do, our identity. Like, oh, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer. And when I had to slow down and I lost my dad, I was like, who are you? Like, if all of those things disappear.
But too, when you realize that, like, I'm no perfect Christian. I'm Christian, but I'm not a perfect Christian. No, my journey has been where I'm like on fire, and then I'm feeling numb, and then there's all kinds of things going on. It depends on what's happening in life, but like having that realization made me go, okay, first of all, if I'm a child of God, I don't need to beg anybody. I don't need to stand before I don't need anyone, but I need God. Meaning God's gonna be my promoter. He's gonna be my connection. He's gonna be the one. And so I stood before people differently, because I was like, I have something that you need. It's funny because God put me, like, at that point when I had that realization, I ended up going like in these doors and meeting these people, not even for myself. I was doing this wellness company, and like God was putting me literally into the president of Babyface Records, or the vice president. I'm in his office trying to help him with his health. And I was like, this is crazy, God. Like, so it no longer became like, I need you. Like, how can I serve you? How can I serve you? Like, what do you need? You know? Whereas before I would have sat there like, oh my God, I need him to hear my music. You know, like it was a different position, you know? And then I just realized like, okay, well, what do I want to write about? How do I want to present myself? Like if I'm a child of God, I don't need to act up like I'm not. Yeah. So, you know, not that I'm perfect, but it did make me go, well, that's my identity. So that's what I need to move in. Yeah. You know, if he chooses to take this or that away, I'm still a child of God. Like, so I don't know. It's not about perfection. It's also becomes about relationship, right? Like as a child of God, he's your father. What does that look like to be a daughter? You know, all those things.
You work with icons like Janet Jackson, Missy Elliott, Justin Bieber. How did being around that level of fame impact your perspective of success?
Well, I think especially with Janet, because Janet I had interactions with early on, like very early on when I first moved here. I was like the biggest Jackson fan on planet Earth. I like knew everyone around them. It was kind of crazy. Like I know who your bodyguards are, your choreographers, your dancers, your managers, or like I just knew everybody. I love the Jacksons. And I was like, if I could be anything like Janet, oh my God, that would be amazing. You know, because when she did Control, the sassiness, the like independence, and like it was just like the like feminine with masculine energy. I was just like, oh my God, so amazing. Yeah. But then I had interactions behind the scenes with her camp. I was very close to it because I was roommates with Teresa at the time, and that's when she was doing Velvet Rope. And you know, I just saw the really human side of her. There was some disappointing interaction. I don't want to go down that road, but like just stuff that I saw that I was like, whoa. So that was a real eye opener. And I was like, I just see these people as human. I saw the human side, whereas when you're young and green, sometimes you're just like, oh my God, they can do no wrong. But yeah, working with people you start to see you see the humanity, which is good. It's just maturity. Yeah.
It's a learning too. I always pay attention, like, okay, that I would do that. Oh no, I don't like that. When I have my my moment, I'm not gonna act like this one.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Missy was always like, when I worked with her, she was just about work. She was real cool. I had no bad interactions with her. She was just straight up professional. Justin Bieber was a kid when I worked with him, so I saw the kid side. He was like 15 or 16, so he was just coming up. In fact, when we booked his video, I didn't even know who he was. I was like, this is when his name was rising, and I was like, who is he? I don't know. I had just had a daughter, so I was like, I don't know who these people are. But yeah, no, it was everything that I've done has just helped me just realize how human we are.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, we're all human.
Yeah, we're just all human. Yeah, I mean, but it's really cool also at the same time to just like believe you want to reach a goal, and then you're sitting there doing it. That's the awesome part too.
How did a crew came together?
Beat Freaks?
Yeah.
Well, like me and Teresa had been friends from Dallas like since we were like 18, 19, 20. And we used to do our thing for years. And then we moved. We both were in LA. We both became part of the Groovaloos. And then we met other people that were Groovaloos, like Allison. I met Maris, like different, like I think Steven Stanton might have introduced me to her through Super Dave, maybe, when she first moved here. And I still remember it. So, and then I met Reno through Steve. And then there's a bunch of us, right? A few of us were Groovaloos first, but some of us were not Groovaloos. So we were used to dancing already together, even in the crew or outside of the crew when we would just go club or Cypher or whatever. And then we were all individually our own entity in the entertainment industry. And then we just decided one day for fun, like we were like, let's just do a girl crew. It would be really fun, you know. We talked about it for a long time. We would have practices. We never really went and cyphered or like battled or anything. We just would it was just a fun thing, but it started to take on a life of its own as far as like people talking about it. We were like, whoa, like we did a few, a couple of appearances. I think it's just because now there's tons and tons of women in the scene, but at that time there were not tons and tons of women in the scene.
I was back in Brazil when I heard about, and when I moved here, they were like, oh, you so, like, people would say, you have the energy of, like, be free. Yeah. So I was like, I would have been that.
That's dope. I mean, that's how we would feel, too. Like, we would see what a female, and we'd be like, oh, she's a beat freak. Oh, she's a beat freak. Oh, she's a beat. Oops. That's how it became. So yeah, I mean, it just took on a life of its own. Actually, we had been asked to do ABDC for a few years, the first 2 seasons, like, and we weren't ready. Like, people were touring. Mentally, we weren't sure if we wanted to do it because just the commercial side of it, we weren't sure. But when the 3rd season came, it just felt right. It felt like we're supposed to do this, and that's kind of how it came. It was very organic, and it wasn't like we didn't stress over it. We just had fun with it.
Dope. It was super dope. Yeah. Yes.
It was a good time. It was a really good time. We're all spread out all over the world now.
All right. Was there a moment where you realized being behind the scenes was more aligned with your calling than being center stage?
No, because I still feel like I'm still supposed to do all of it on camera as well. And, obviously I'm getting older, so things are going to look a little bit different. We can do whatever we believe we can do, right? But no, there wasn't. The thing is that I've actually been writing treatments. I have like a whole book. Like, as an artist, what I would do, I had a whole vision for bringing old school back. This is before people did it. And so because the way I dance and the world that I'm in, I wanted to bring sounds from that era, with movement from that era, from looks from that era, to make it relevant and connect with that season. So it was around like 2001 when I was really trying to get the deal. So at that time I would write full treatments, like music video treatments. I would have the vision from the branding to the music video to how it's going to look when I perform on the Grammys. The whole message. Yeah, the whole message, the full picture. And that's kind of probably one of my strengths, is just seeing the holes. Like, when people are trying to do something, I'm like, okay, I get it, but no one else is going to get it. I see why you're trying to do that, but here's the whole, here's the story, here's how to make the story stronger, here's, how to simplify it, like, here's what we should focus on as far as the look, like all those kinds of things that were already in me. So I just really enjoy I think it's in anything as creatives, I enjoy taking a blank slate and making it beautiful, or like transforming it, no matter what it is. So yeah, it's still, I don't know. I'd like to do it more. I'd like to do it more.
Let me interrupt the episode real quick to talk to you guys about something serious. Before you drop that new single or that merch logo, ask yourself, is that name really yours? Artist Guard lets you search trademark database in the US, EU, UK, and Canada in seconds to make sure that your stage name or your brand can actually be used by you, or not gonna drag you into legal troubles and cost you a lot of money. It's free to search, it's built for independent artists, and there's a lot of useful tools in the different plans. So go to artistguard.net and protect your brand today. What role has spirituality play in your creative decision making?
Oh, creative decision making. Well, that goes all the way back to, like, even before I had my I'm a child of God moment, when I was in Texas, I still felt God pulling on me, because I have a really interesting walk with God. Like, I saw Jesus when I was little. I saw demons. I could see in the spirit. So it was never, for me, it was never like, oh, is this real? And I was like, it's real. I've seen it. You
saw Jesus?
Yeah, I saw Jesus at 5. Nice. When I was 5.
How was that?
It was crazy. Well, it was dreams. They were dreams. I have spiritual encounters where I don't know how to, maybe someone out there has also had this encounter, but when I'm having a spiritual encounter, a lot of times I'm asleep and I can see the room. Even though my body is asleep, my spirit is awake. You have that?
I had that. I saw the devil.
Yeah.
2 days before I got baptized here again.
I don't doubt it. It's the war. It's the war over your spirit, your soul. Yeah, I believe you. Were you in the room?
I was in the same room in this building when I was 7 with my friend, and I was sleeping, and I couldn't move. And he was saying, "I'm gonna take your voice away," and I couldn't move, and I was just like, I got this strength, and I was like, God is the one that gave me. He's the only one that can take it.
Amen.
And then I woke up, and I was in the same place, and I was praying. I was able to wake up because I started praying like in the dream, and I woke up. It was crazy.
That's kind of how it happened. So what happened as a child, it's crazy if you know all the, like, kind of going back to what we talked about, being in a white neighborhood, the segregation, the call God had on my life. I didn't know this at 5. I didn't know any of this, but like basically, I don't know how people are going to take these stories. I can't really worry about it because it's my reality. But like, I was in my living room, and there was this kid that lived across the street that was in the living room with me. Someone knocked on the back door from the backyard, knocked on the back door, and she goes, "Don't get it." And I said, she goes, "Don't open the door. Don't get it. Don't open the door." And I looked at her, and I knew it was Jesus on the other side of the door somehow. And I said it in a very soulful accent. I was like, "Girl, what are you talking about? It's Jesus." I said it like that. At this point, I was never really around Black people, you know? So it's crazy because I know that was a projection of what the future was going to look like when I would be walking with Jesus. Now that I can go back and look at it, I'm like, wow, he was showing me that at 5, like, was not by mistake any of this happens, right? So like, I opened the door, it was Jesus standing. He took me by the hand, walked me around. I don't remember his face. He didn't allow me to see like the details of his face, but I knew it was Jesus. And we were holding hands, and we walked, and we went to the side of the house. And when it was time for me to let go of his hand, he goes, "Okay, let go of my hand. I'm going now." And I was like, I wouldn't let go of his hand because I didn't want him to go. And he goes, "Keeley, let go of my hand." And I let go, and I watched him ascend into heaven. And I remember waking up at 5 after that experience and sitting on the couch, like running into the living room to tell my mom. I was like, "Mama, Jesus visited me." You know, I was like, it's so little. And I sat on the couch, and I still remember it to this day, like sitting on the couch in this blanket of peace that doesn't exist here. And it was like, I just sat in this peace. Like, so that was one of the experiences. I've had several, but because of that, and then when I fully surrendered, well, I was saying when I would do shows in Texas before I fully surrendered, a lot of times I would have like this little acapella part in the beginning of the show where I was kind of lifting up Jesus' name or kind of winking or saying something about God, like, and then I would go on to do my full secular show. I think it was just me in that battle, like it was pulling me. And I'm not a gospel singer or anything like that, even to this day. But like I worship, but like, yeah, it was just, it's very symbolic of what the walk I have, you know.
It's a battle. It's
it is
people in the industry.
Yeah,
like there's stuff you're like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely been very open about my faith the whole time. People have miscommunicated things that I've said. They've ruined, I've ruined, some relationships have gotten ruined because someone who didn't like the fact that I was a Christian lied about something I said that I didn't say, like, it made me look like some crazy, like, weirdo. Like, so, like, there's been a lot of battles. Like, I've been on sets where I've definitely felt spiritual, like, I worked with Diddy, and that was one of those things. When I worked with Diddy, I definitely felt like two magnets, like this, that, you know, about how magnets repel each other. Yeah. That's how I felt with him. The energy was
I believe, because I worked with one big, and I think at that point he was really in the darkness. I could see. I was the whole concert, and we did a concert in Brazil. I was praying in the concert, me and the other dancers, because they hire everybody from Brazil. And I remember I was like shouting God just like on stage.
Yeah. Yeah, bring him everywhere you go. You got to. Yeah. Yeah, I've had many moments like that. Yeah, for sure. And all of those too are like, I don't know. They get confirmed too, because I've walked through years here. I've been here almost 30 years, with the exception of the 2 when I went to Texas for 2 years. But like, I've had many moments like that. And then I think at the time when I didn't fully understand, I would be like, what's wrong with me? Why do these people act weird towards me? Like, I was like, I'd always feel set apart. Well, God says we're set apart, but I'd always feel pushed apart or like set on the side. You know, there were times when I wasn't invited places because people felt convicted. I wasn't bringing up anything about your lifestyle, but you felt weird around me, but I don't know why. You know, it's like that spiritual battle.
Oh yeah, sometimes it's the energy, because there's people that I worked with and I was like, I don't think I would work again with this person. I'm not having fun, and it's something about the spirit just don't click.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. It's not for like, it's not for the faint. Like, if you, especially the Jesus bringing up his name is very powerful. So if there's darkness around, that darkness is going to feel scared or exposed. So you can be carrying Jesus with you everywhere you go and people feel exposed and you're not even trying to do nothing. Yeah. You can look them in the eye, they feel exposed. I have all the time people can't look me in the eye. So I'm like, I'm not, I guess it's Jesus. I don't know. But it has definitely, you know, there's been jobs I haven't gotten. And I actually, the shirt I have underneath this shirt is something I wanted to print for years, because we have a little t-shirt printing business. And it says rejection is protection. It's something that God spoke to me. Like, a lot of people use that phrase now, but back when I heard it was straight from the Holy Spirit, because I did a job with with Master P, and I remember this was another defining moment, was like, I wanted to dance with all the divas of that time. I was always like a freestyle hip hop dancer. I was always booking that kind of stuff. I wasn't booking a lot of the choreography jobs. I would, but very rarely, because I was kind of seen as the freestyle hip hop girl. And then I became a locker, and then, and so I was like, man, I just want to work with the divas one day. And so I got direct booked on a job with all the divas. And I remember they put us in these tiny shirts and like short, like silver short shorts. And like, I felt very bare because I'm always wearing baggy, heavy, you know. And there was like butt popping movement in it and all kinds of stuff. And it just didn't feel comfortable to me. I didn't feel right. And then, you know, there were some people on set that were like, you know, trying to holler at all of us and making us feel very objectified, you know. And I just remember coming home crying on the couch, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I feel horrible. And I heard the Lord say, rejection is protection. So next time you get rejected and you don't book it, just know I'm protecting you. And I was like, shoot. And then a lot of people started using that phrase, but I was like, I'm putting it on a t-shirt. So I have that on actually underneath here.
I want one. You and your husband built Cypher Juice Productions together. Yes. What has building a creative company within marriage taught you about partnership and leadership?
Oh my God, me and my husband, we still have trouble working together. We're still trying to figure that out, because he's strong-willed and I'm strong-willed. But it's fun. It's fun working with your partner. Like, the cool thing is we both like Cypher Juice. People are like, what does that mean? I'm like, the juice that powers and fuels the cipher, whatever that is. And for us, we would teach a freestyle class. This is what we did on our missions trip and stuff like that. We just teach worship in the cipher. And like, you know, it peels back layers of things off of people, and it's very powerful. So we were like, whatever fuels freedom is what we want to produce. Like, and it's not always going to be Christian, but if it's transformative or inspiring or uplifting, that's what we want our production company to be. So we're very much in line that way. There's times we butt heads with the creative side, but for the most part, we're in line with each other. So it's good. Both of us are just a little bit too creative and not so great with time management. So yeah.
You've worked on projects from mainstream entertainment to spirituality rooted films. Do you see your art as a ministry?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Always. Oh man, there's so many sidebar stories and stuff, but yeah, I had major revelations on dance being worship, and really literally worshiping God. Like, in the middle of a set where people are like, you can't worship God here. Oh, yes, I can. Like, because the word says that it ushers in his presence. Mm-hmm. I don't really got to, I'm not the presence of God. Like, you know, I mean, he's with me, but his presence is what changes the atmosphere and the people in that atmosphere, right? So I realized not only is the product that you create bringing his presence somewhere, talking about him, not forcefully, but if the conversation comes up and people ask, I'm going to tell you, like, you know, like, and my stories are not like everybody else's stories. So like, I'm going to tell you because that's my reality. And I'm not ashamed of it, but also just loving people, because a lot of the time the people outside of Hollywood, especially in a lot of the conservative states, they're so judgmental of Hollywood. And I understand, but they don't understand is that there's so many people here that love Jesus. Mm-hmm. So many. And there's mega churches all over the place, and the houses are packed with people worshiping God. And there's so many people on set who love God. So like, I don't feel that there's nothing God can't do. Yeah. So like, yes, he can transform. It's from person to person to person that God transforms a place, you know? So like, yeah, we need to be there. We need to be in the house. I need to be in the Grammys. I've been working as a PA. I've been working, like, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. You know, so like, if I'm there, I'm just going to treat the artist with love and respect. Whether I agree with this or that, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you some love today. Yeah. You know, so yeah, I mean, any way that you can show love to people in every situation. You might be on stage one day, you might be backstage the next.
Oh, yeah. And the gospel has to be...
The dog's... I hear him snoring. That's funny.
Oh, yeah, dog B. And the gospel has to be spread everywhere. It's not just in church, because the older generation has this mentality, right? Oh, you sing, I gotta sing in church.
Yeah.
I grew up in church in Brazil, like doing theater, all kind of stuff. But at some point, I was like, I'm done, you know, because the world needs, like, we in church, we know about God. Even nobody's perfect, but you know, we gotta bring where people don't hear often.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And so instead of talking about people, pray for people. Like, because there's a whole group of us out here. We're fighting a lot of spiritual battles. So it's like...
Oh, this last years? Oh, my God.
Yeah, for real.
It's been crazy. Mm-hmm. What is the hardest season you've gone through, and how did you grow through it?
I don't even know if I'm on the other side of that hard season right now, to be honest. It's really been my health, and leaving Los Angeles for those 2 years actually was very eye-opening about why I'm having health issues here. Mm-hmm. One, it's the pace. The pace of LA is it's very stressful. Mm-hmm. A lot of the buildings are very toxic, just mold and water damage. That's a big part of my story. I developed the autoimmune here after being here a couple of years. And so there was a lot of my health problems started within the first 2 years of living here. That I did come out of a very traumatic betrayal that I feel like may have pushed that even further. But it just definitely, it would be like a roller coaster. And then when I would have these very stressful moments, it would get worse. And then I would be okay for a while, blah, blah, blah. But since 2015, I think 14 was the flood, 15, around 2015, I was living in a toxic building and didn't know it. I was having a ton of health issues. There was other things surfacing in my kids and my husband as well, but it wasn't the same because I already had the autoimmune. I was already, and it was just like, and I had the kids. So yeah, I became bedridden. I was bedridden from 2000, I think it was 15 by the end of that year, or 16. Somewhere around there, 15, 16. I was bedridden every day from about 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. till about 6 p.m. So every time it was time for me to go pick up my daughters from school, I had zero. As soon as I picked them up, my body just started crashing. It had to do with the mold that I didn't know it was mold yet, you know. I think at 2015 I did. So yeah, I started going really downhill because I couldn't function. I couldn't function as a wife. I couldn't function as a mother. My career was going down. Obviously, that affected us financially. People didn't know the level of suffering that was going on inside our home because you kind of have to act like nothing's going on so people will still hire you because you need the work. And, you know, people in LA look down on weakness or like problems, you know, so I had to kind of hide it with a lot of people. I was going through spiritual battles. I had a lot of false prophecies. I had 6 miscarriages. I had 6 prophecies. I was going to have a child. In between each prophecy, I lost the child. Like, it was insane, crazy, back injury. Like, but we're talking about the spiritual side. After the first pregnancy, before I found out that baby had stopped growing, I was woken up to a voice, and here's my crazy spiritual stories. I was woken up to a voice that said, able to withstand the fire, able to withstand. Very like, I was like, it literally shook me out of my sleep. I was like, what? And I heard it repeat, able to withstand the fire, able to withstand. I was like, what? Like, weird, because it was a male voice. And then second day, woke up. Daniel died today. Daniel woke up today. I was like, what? So it was over layered. Like, Daniel died, Daniel woke up. I was like, what? And the next day I found out the baby had passed, and then went on to miscarry in the middle of mold. And then, like, it was so much. Got another prophecy that I'm having a son, get pregnant, have another miscarriage. So I was pregnant from 43 to 48. 2020 was the last miscarriage during COVID. Oh. So I was 48 naturally pregnant, but I believed. I was like, I believe it, God is able. Like, yeah. And I kept getting prophecies. So you have that confusion there where you're like questioning the prophetic, questioning what's happening to you, like, and then processing all of that at the same time. So I was going through that, and I was bedridden half the day most of the time. Finances were falling apart, like everything. You know, when I was gaining weight, like weight was just like pouring on my body, you know, and I was like, everything I would try to do would have to be severe to get weight off. Like, it was just a mess because what mold does is like, that's a whole nother freaking podcast. So I went through really intense battles from 2015, and then we were all in that group, the artist group. I caught COVID in 2021, 2 weeks after I got my blood reports that proved that I had all kinds of mold in my bloodstream. I caught COVID 2 weeks later, and then I ended up with long COVID, which pushed me and forced me to try to escape that apartment. Because that apartment, I was at the point where I was telling my husband, I think I'm going to die. I literally was at that point. And I'm like a warrior. I'm like, yeah, all things are possible, you know. But I was so beat down that I was like, I think I'm probably going to die if we stay here in this apartment. And then 2 weeks later, I caught COVID. And because mold causes mast cell activation, it's the same thing that COVID causes mast cell activation. So I had a double whammy. Now couldn't drive. Thought it couldn't get worse. Now I couldn't drive. I was passing out in places like Target. Like, it's insane. I almost passed out driving. I had to pull. It's insane. So that's what pushed us out of the apartment. We went to Austin for 2 years. Life slowed down. I wasn't working in buildings. I wasn't in a toxic living space. I was able to afford a bunch of modalities like hyperbaric oxygen therapy and infrared light, which Maris had at her house. She let me go use her sauna. I slowly but surely, through everything, stood back up, was able to work out again, started to lose weight. You know, that is a sign from me that my body's regulating. Yeah. But then we had to come back, and then as soon as we came back, I started going through hell again. Yeah. The last, I'm almost 2 years. I've been mold exposed 3 times. My numbers went from very low to quadruple what they were. So it proved to me, it just showed me, it's like, this place just has a lot of toxicity. Like, so I have to be smart. I have to avoid it. I have to keep my immune system strong. I do have some modalities now, but I'm still at the tail end of that, to where I feel better now and I know how to do things to keep myself stronger than I did because I didn't have a full understanding. But I don't feel like I'm fully out of the fire yet.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a long process. Yeah. Spiritually, it's made me go, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean.
But glad you getting out of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know there's a time. I mean, but, you know, when you go through a long period like that, that's 11 years of constant, like, stuff, right? I'm still walking. I can hear, I can see. I have children that are healthy. They're healthier now. I'm still married. I'm still creative. I'm somehow still have a roof over my head as an artist. Like, there's a lot of things to stay focused on that are positive.
Yeah.
I've seen God, even in the 11 years of trials, I've seen him do miracles. I've been severely tested. And I told people sometimes, I'm like, well, I heard a voice before this started that said able to withstand the fire. So I know that I walked into a spiritual battle that was, God knew what was about to happen. So his grace sent me a voice to tell me you're able to stand it. You're able to withstand. So even that, I got to look at his grace and go, well, he even knew it was about to be so hard that he had to send a voice to tell me.
Yes.
So in this process, there's a lot of well-meaning people that come along the way trying to give advice, you know, either about the physical part, the spiritual part. Did you do this? Did you try this? Did you try that? Did you try, you know, they're well-meaning. But you know, sometimes there's an assignment that you have to walk through and you didn't do anything to cause it. And maybe your faith is just being strengthened. Maybe there's a test going. I don't really know, fully understand all the things that God does, but it shows you in that length of period of time, there's been a lot of people to pass. You know, we had two dancers like Danielle and Priscilla pass, and my auntie-in-law, her funeral was this morning in Fiji, and it just puts things into perspective more. Like, we can't always stay in the future in our goals and the things that we want to see happen. We got to just stay present because the journey is now. Yeah. How you experience today is your life.
Yeah, I've been learning that. I was so much for so many years, like, in the future, what's next? Yeah. What's next? Not even enjoying it 100%, like the present moment.
Yeah, the present moment is life. Yeah. That's your life. Yeah. Like, right? Yeah. It's not like, oh, well, when I do this. I used to think like that. When I do this, I'll be happy. Well, I withheld my own happiness for years just thinking like that. So
how was getting pregnant, like having kids here in this crazy town, LA, and being an artist, you and your husband, because we know it's a crazy life. It's like we live gig to gig. Right.
Well, I'm very much a faith person. Sometimes I'm not so wise. I use a lot of faith sometimes. But you know, with my daughter, both daughters actually, I always knew I'd be in my 30s when I would have children. I just knew it instinctually. I don't know. As a kid, I was like, I'll be in my 30s. I know it. With Kalia, who's the oldest, who's also a musician, amazing musician. Check her out if you're watching. Kalia K Music. It's the strangest thing. Like, I just started to cry one day about my child. I don't know why. I just started crying. Every time I would think about having a child, I would start to cry. And I had a prophecy that I had a prophecy about me having children. And when I had the prophecy, when the person spoke, I saw a vision of two daughters. I saw two girls standing there. So I always knew I was having two girls. And when anyone would say, that's a boy in there, I was like, nope, it's a girl. So when this crying that was uncontrollable, and I was like, there's nothing wrong with me. Why am I crying about this? Like, I knew it was time. God was pulling. He was like, it's time. And so that's how we decided to go ahead and try with Kalia. Like, we just naturally had her, like, got pregnant with her. I found out on Mother's Day that I was pregnant with her. Yeah. And then with the second child, I wasn't ready. We were just now starting to rebuild. Because like you said, you know, at that time I was still more of the breadwinner when I got pregnant with the first. And me and my husband were not far into our marriage, like a year and a half or something when I first got pregnant. And so, you know, I gained a whole lot of weight with the first baby, so I had to work real hard as a dancer to get back in shape. So yeah, we took a hit like financially, but I knew I was supposed to have her. Like God's gonna take care of us. So when we started rebuilding, and then I was on tour with Groovaloos. I was on tour with Groovaloos. I was actually roommating with Penelope Vasquez. I don't know if you know her. She's a dancer. She's a makeup artist. We were roommates. I think she showed me a picture of this video, and there was this little girl jumping in the video, and the tears came again. And it was the same tears like whenever it happened with Kalia. And it happened when I was on stage in the middle of performing. And I was like, there's no way I'm crying in the middle of a show while I'm freestyling about having a child. And I just knew it was time again. I got off tour. I got pregnant within a month. I was pregnant with the second one. So I had Kalia at 34 and Kailani at 38.
Nice.
And so it's not been easy. It's not been easy. We don't have family around. So it's just been me and him. I'm very particular about who's going to watch my kids.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'm there with my dogs.
Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah. I mean, I would drag my kids to my rehearsals. Like, Kalia was in her stroller, like, when I was practicing for Groovaloo, like, you know, sitting. But, I mean, all that has to do with who they are, too, to this day. She's very artistic. And, I mean, she was born to be, but it just fostered it, being around it, you know?
Yeah.
And thankfully, people were okay with it.
Right.
Except for some of the beat freaks. You know who you are.
But usually it's the community. I think we help each other with that.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people bring their kids to rehearsals, depending on the jobs.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like it was okay in some spaces. In some spaces, there was a little pushback. It's all good.
Yeah.
Now they're
okay.
beautiful young ladies.
They grown.
Yeah.
Many artists struggle with reinvention. What advice you to give someone afraid to pivot?
To pivot?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm dealing with that right now. I think when you're an artist, I can only speak for women as a woman. Becoming a mother is one transition, because not like I'm a mom, which what does that mean? Is someone, what do other people think that means? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what projections are going to be put on me? Or, you know what I mean? Like, there was that was the first transition. And then getting older, that was the next transition. And now menopause. I love the fact that everyone's talking about menopause now, because I can just talk about it.
Yeah, it has to be said.
Yeah, it just literally happened in the last year. It's interesting because I had another discussion with my hairdresser, who's a close friend, and we were just talking about it yesterday. It's like this thing where you hit that era, and it's like things are happening in your body and things are changing, and then it's like you start to feel like, where am I relevant? Who can I speak to? What can I do? What am I not supposed to do? And even having my 15-year-old, my 19-year-old thinks I'm the coolest mom ever. My 15-year-old, not so much. So it's weird to me when I'm dancing and she's like, "Mom, don't do that." I'm like, "Girl, do you know who I am? I'm not gonna. You're never gonna tell me not to dance, okay?" Like, you know. Yeah. But it's not cool to her, but it's cool to other people, you know. So like, she always puts a mirror in my face and is like, I don't know, am I cool? I don't know. But so like, there's that going on, you know. Finding the transition of like, who am I speaking to with my art now? Mm-hmm. Like, who wants it? Who doesn't want it? Is it because I'm growing older? Is it like, that's the transition I'm still trying to figure out, but like, you have no choice but to just keep moving forward and like living the best life possible and trying to be as healthy and strong as you can in that process. 'Cause then the next phase is like, you know, 70s and 80s. Oh my God, sounds crazy.
I
sounds crazy.
Can't believe my age.
I know, it's weird. So like, my social media changed to where I started following all these like ripped old ladies. Because I was like, well, I guess that's where I'm headed. I want to look like them. So, you know, I just try to follow people that are still inspiring as they grow older. Yeah. You know, because I'm like, we limit ourselves, like based off of what we think other people think we should or should not be doing. So like,
the limitations here.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen crazy transformations from like 60 to 75. It's crazy. As there's so much like, and then stories of certain successful business people who weren't successful till they were 80. It's like, you know, just living
And
our
now
best life.
technology, we have a lot of stuff we can do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
A lot of filters. No, I'm just playing.
No, procedures. I mean, procedures. Oh, we have a guest.
Aw.
Okay,
So
quick. Lay down.
You're cute.
Yeah, she likes you.
So sweet.
If someone's watching, if someone watching feels unseen and unheard, what would you want them to know about their purpose?
Oh, they feel unseen or unheard. Because I've been going through that season a little bit too. And again, that has to do with the transition of aging, I think. Also too, that in Austin, I felt very invisible over there. I was like, what? I mean, because I had so much to offer the dance scene, and they just don't really care about locking over there too much. There's like a very small, tiny group of people, and it's very male dominated over there. So I think we have to always go back to, what is your first love? Like, who are you at the core? We go back to, who are you at the core?
Yeah.
When you are getting older, maybe if you can't dance as much anymore, or you can't sing in a red silk dress anymore, or whatever it is, you know, like what, I mean, who are you at the core? Well, if you know who you are at the core, you're a child of God. You just keep being that child of God, whatever that looks like. You know, I mean, I've been trying new things. Sometimes too, the word talks about people being hidden away for a season. Or you hear a lot of pastors and leaders talk about that. You're hidden there, you know, there's a season sometimes when you're hidden away because you're in preparation for something greater. And that greater doesn't necessarily mean you're in front of thousands of people, but it could mean that your ministry is not even started yet fully. And ministry, I'm not saying that in terms of what everyone thinks. So there is one who sees you and hears you. Yeah. And it's God, you know. And really, in the end, I'm talking to my daughters about this a lot, is you come here alone. You're all of a sudden conscious within the family that you were chosen to be given to. You have that experience, and then you have your experience on your own. You get married, you don't get married, whatever. Have kids, don't have kids, but you're going to leave alone. Like, I'm looking at Priscilla's journey. You know, I was pretty close to Priscilla, and we talked a lot behind the scenes, watching her journey, and then her getting that terminal diagnosis. Then it went quick after she got the diagnosis. And the picture of her sitting, looking out the window, there's a picture of her on her social media of her looking out the window after getting that terminal diagnosis. And she's a believer, and she's looking, and the sun is shining on her. And I was just thinking about, what was she thinking? Like, was she like, okay, I'm going to meet you now. Yeah. I'm going to meet you now. Like, everything else gets shut out for a minute. Yeah. You know, because then eternity, you're facing eternity, which is way longer than this little short blip of time. So like, I have to always kind of think of that too when I feel unseen or unheard, because I'm like, well, there is one who loves you unconditionally and sees you and hears you all the time. Like, so yeah, I battle with that in this season. I'm slightly battling with that because I'm not functioning the way I'm used to functioning in especially the last 5 years with getting long COVID, moving away, coming back. So, but that's where I find my greatest comfort, is knowing I'm not truly alone. Yeah,
you're not.
No, I know that.
Thank you for sharing, because your whole story is so inspiring, and I'm sure will touch a lot of lives. And thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. That's
and
fun.
How can we support you?
You know
Tell
what?
everybody how they can find you.
Well, I mean, I have my social media, which is always Lockin'Key 99. I don't have a TikTok right now. I have Instagram. I don't really like Facebook, but I'm on Facebook too sometimes. But on Instagram mostly. But really, honestly, if you could just follow my daughter, because my daughter is an incredibly talented musician. She writes, sings, masters, produces programs, all of her music. She's on Instagram Keeley, Kalia Music. She's on all the platforms. So it's Kalia, Kalia, Kaukimoce, Kau. It's hard.
No, we put in the description. Send to me.
Yes, Kalia Kaukimoce. She's on all platforms. Honestly, can support me the most by supporting her, because I'm really trying to get behind her musical career in ways I didn't have the support that she has. Like, I'm 1,000% behind her. Support my youngest. She's a volleyball player. She's an incredibly talented sportsman. You can find her online too. Kailani Kaukimoce. So yeah, supporting my girls really.
And how can we support your t-shirt business?
Oh, well, yes, I actually have a brand. We haven't fully launched the brand. It's called Cypher Lab. So you can go to at Cypher Lab 143 is the handle, but the brand is Cypher Lab. There's a little bit of stuff that we've put out. We're about to launch more fully, like with the shop and everything, but you can still find it and order, or at least follow. And we also have a printing company called Get Down Print Shop. So if you need anything, I'm really proud of our quality. We're just very high quality. We help also in the design if you need help, things like that. So yeah.
Nice. Yes, go support. And thank you for watching. I will see you next episode. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. It was good talking to you. Now I need to ask you a bunch of questions.
Oh, yes. Let's go.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.